Good evening and welcome. All Kenyans are moving towards going home. However, that has come with a lot this particular season. We delve into that and much more on the Daily Report tonight. Let's have the highlights. Tonight, 8 people die in a road accident that involved multiple cars along the Narok Maimahio Road.
Bahati mbaya zilikuwa mbili. Hiyo ingine ikapita ikaenda ndio ikamaliza watu. Actually imegonga gari kama there are more than 3.
Also tonight, PS Interior Raymond Omolo slams former DP Rigathi Gachagua over allegations of state involvement in illicit alcohol, but Gachagua allies are fighting back. Plus, a man kills wife before committing suicide in Limuru, Kiambu County.
They have been having issues as a family, which we didn't think that they will go to that point.
And we also tell you of the reign of a Babu Namwamba at Talanta Plaza in our special feature tonight.
The time I had in office was perhaps not long enough to see the fruition of some of the measures you put in place.
Welcome once again to this live broadcast. My name is Hibaq. On sign language interpretation tonight is Catherine Simaloy. To start us off, 8 people have died in a road accident at the Dukamoja area along the Narok Maimahio Road. Several others were left nursing injuries in an accident involving multiple cars, as Stanley Nyaringita now reports.
8 people died while others sustained injuries in a tragic accident involving 6 vehicles at Dukamoja area along the Narok-Susu Highway in Narok County. Eyewitnesses say the accident occurred when a trailer traveling from Narok towards Mahimahiu suffered a tire burst and lost control, knocking a car, a bus and a Narok line matatu.
Hii trailer ilipasulia mguu pale juu ikianza mteremko. Ile ilipasulia mguu kwa ikapoteza control, sasa ikaanza kutembea barabara yote, ndio ikagusa hiyo pasi ilikuwa pale, ikakuja ikafikia Nissan ikarusha kwa shamba huko. Wakati nilisikia hivyo, hata mimi niliona inaingia hapo kwa shamba. Nilikuwa hapo nje. Nikajaribu kuangalia vile inakuja nikimbie, lakini nikaona imeangukia pale, ndio ikasiraidi hivyo tu mpaka hapo.
So this trailer when you lose control ikakoje ikapita na Nissan yenye ilikuwa kando yetu ikasonga nayo kabisa. So bahati mbaya zilikuwa mbili. Hiyo ingine ikapita ikaenda ndio ikamaliza watu. Actually imegonga gari kama there are more than 3.
2 died on the spot. A second trailer also traveling from Narok at high speed is said to have collided head-on with another car, a Toyota Prado, traveling in the opposite direction, claiming 2 occupants, while a third succumbed to injuries later at Narok County Hospital.
Yule wa pikipiki ni kama na yeye alipoteza fahamu. Akasimama katikati ya barabara. Yule mwingine akaruka. Sasa kuruka saidi, kukimbia kwenda saidi hiyo tumekimbia. Yeye akafikiwa, si kama alianguka ndio ikamfikia hapo ikapita juu yake. Na huyu mzee ni kama alijaribu kukimbia kuja juu na yeye ikampata akikimbia ikapita juu yake ikaosha hao wawili hivi.
A motorcycle was also involved in the accident. The accident comes at a time the National Transport and Safety Authority, NTSA, is reporting more than 4,000 deaths through road accidents this year. All the vehicles involved in the accident have been towed to Ntulele Police Station for inspection.
Thank you, Nyaringita. A cloud of grief has engulfed Kamandura village in Limuru constituency, Kiambu County, following a shocking incident in which a middle-aged man allegedly attacked and brutally killed his ex-wife before taking his own life in the rented house where he was staying. Our reporter Kinto Wafula delves into the details of this heartbreaking story.
The deceased, identified as Mercy Wangui Natheri, and a mother of 3, had returned to her parents' home following domestic disputes with her estranged husband, identified as Paul.
Huyu kazini yangu alikuwa ameenda chama jana. So on her way back akirudi walikuwa wawili. Kulikuwa route saa moja. Huyo kazini yangu akasikia kuna mtu nyuma. Akaambia huyu mwenye walikuwa na yeye, hebu mulika uone ni nini. Kumulika akaona ni Paul, huyu bwana yake. So aliattack kazini yangu, akampiga kichwa, ni kama alimpiga na chuma, akaharibu kichwa yote na akamdunga tumbo twice. Katoka tukienda kumuangalia. On the way tukasema acha tuingie kwake kwanza to confirm kama ako kwa nyumba. Mlango ikavunjwa, kuingia tukapata amejinyonga.
According to Wangui's family, this was not the first time she had received the threats from her husband. They revealed that she had previously reported the threat to the police, leading to Paul's arrest, but he was later released.
They have been having issues as a family, which we didn't think that they will go to that point.
Nikamwambia sio vyema kufuatana na mke wake kama amemwacha kwa fujo, kwa sababu kuna hapo baadaye nilisikia kwamba alikuwa amemchapa mke wake na akawa na kesi kotini.
Hakuwa na tabia mzuri, sababu area alikuwa na hofiwa kuwa akikoboa nyumba hataki kulipa.
Confirming the incident, Lemuru Sub-County Police Commander Mary Gashie called on individuals in marriages or relationships to seek professional help whenever they encounter conflict.
So I am appealing that in case there is a problem in families, in relationships, people should seek help before such an incident occurs.
Kinto Wafula, TV47.
Now, 7 individuals were arraigned at the Homa Bay Law Courts in connection with the murder of Paul Sunday, a student at Tomboya University. These suspects, Jacob Okeyo Omolo, Baraka Odhiambo Jude, Monica Atieno, David Ochieng, Anoda Atieno, Kennedy Ouma Otieno, and Pamela Onyango Otieno did not take plea, as investigations into the case are still ongoing. The lead investigators sought a 15-day detention to allow for further evidence collection. However, the defense counsel opposed the request, arguing it was unwarranted given the completion of a post-mortem examination. Senior Resident Magistrate Christine Auka ruled that the suspects be detained for 7 days to facilitate the finalization of investigations.
Even at that premises, even though we didn't see physical, but you can find out that it had been removed, so we need to check that. So that one can be interfered with, Your Honor. Then the key witnesses, they are human is human. They can easily be influenced, either to refuse to record a statement or to record something different. Yes, Your Honor. For those reasons, Your Honor, we are making that application that we detain the suspects for a period of 15 days.
Postmortem report prepared and supplied to the respondents in this particular suit.
On the nature of the application and the offense that the investigating officer is investigating, the applicant is given leave to conduct investigations within 5 days of today's date, and that the court has taken into consideration the holidays in between. Secondly, for the 5 days given to the applicant, all the respondents shall be detained at the Homa Bay Police Station. Number 3, those orders shall lapse upon the expiry of the 5 days that the court has given. And the matter, this miscellaneous file will be mentioned on the 30th of December, that is on Monday, for purposes of closing this. The post-mortem report that concerning the post-mortem that has been conducted on the deceased will be supplied to the advocate within 24 hours of today.
All right. A family in Majengo Estate in Embu Town is appealing to the government to intervene and have their 24-year-old son released by authorities who they suspect abducted him on Saturday night. According to Gerald Mwangi, his son Billy Wanyiri, a student, was abducted by men who pushed him to a standby double-cabin vehicle that sped off towards Nairobi from Embu Town. Josh Onsari tells us more.
We are in darkness, total darkness.
Since Saturday night, the family of Billy Munyiri is disturbed about the whereabouts of their son.
Mimi hatujajua huyu kijana ni nini,
simu yake ni mteja mpaka saa hii hakuna mtu ametuambia pale yako.
The father, Gerald Mwangi, revealed that eyewitnesses told him our double cabin vehicle, silver in color, made a scratching stop at a barber shop in Dallas Estate, about 500 meters from their home, where his son was queuing to get a shave.
Those guys walikuwa mabaunza, strong guys. Wakamwambia, wewe kijana ingia, wacha maswali. Na walikuwa wamefunga mask, walikuwa hooded na maglasses na makofia.
Kijaribu kuuliza ni nini kulingana na vile tuliambiwa na hao watu wa kinyozi, akaambiwa utajulia mbele na akarushwa kwa debukebi na gari ikapasua ikaenda na huku pande ya Nairobi.
It is alleged that Billy Munyiri and another 22-year-old man shared AI-generated images that have made rounds on social media. Mwangi adding that his son is very disciplined and might have found himself sharing online content that may have offended the authorities.
Mimi naomba, in the event that it is the government which abducted this boy over this social media trash.
Mwangi stated that he is a staunch supporter of the Kenya Kwanza government, citing his involvement in campaigning for Embu Governor Cecil Mbarire and President Ruto in the 2022 elections.
Tafadhali Ruto, mimi ni mzee. Kama ni wewe uko na hiyo kijana, kama ni serikali iko na hiyo kijana, tafadhali mimi naomba aachiliwe. Akija hata mimi ananijua, I am a disciplinarian. I would discipline him.
Wanyiri's mother could not hold herself as she appealed to the government to help in the release of his son alive while apologizing on his behalf.
Sisi hatuna ingine, tungeomba serikali yetu Bwana Ruto, tafadhali turudishie huyu mtoto, na tumesema ni sorry kama amekosea. Sisi kama wazazi tutamkalisha chini na tutaita mpaka watu wengine tumkalishe chini, na tumesema ni sorry kwa niaba ya mtoto.
Embu County Police Commander Samuel Muthamia said police have dispatched teams and are using technology under their disposal in search of the young man.
It was unfortunate that no one took the registration number of the vehicle which took him away. But we have deployed all our mechanisms of work to try to establish where he could be.
Josh Onsare, TV47.
Quite a sad state of affairs. In contrast, the government now boasts of what it says is an improved economy, despite the challenges witnessed in 2024. According to the government spokesman Isaac Mwaura, some of the key sectors that have recorded an improvement include agriculture, education, health, and infrastructure. Elizabeth Atieno now tells us more.
As the year 2024 draws to a close, the government has acknowledged that this was not the best year, from the El Nino rains to the hillside Indarasha school tragedy, and even the June and July Gen Z protests that led to the withdrawal of the 2024 finance bill. However, the government, through its spokesperson, Dr. Isaac Mwaura, says there has been a glimmer of hope as some key sectors are thriving amidst the tragic and devastating events.
Kama ni mambo ya inflation, utakuta kwamba mpurukuko wa bei, mfumuko huo wote umeweza kurudi chini mpaka 2.7%, jambo ambalo ni nzuri zaidi kutokea 9%. Na pia ukiangalia hata bei ya vyakula imeweza kurudi chini kwa kiasi kikubwa zaidi.
According to the government, Kenya has honored its international financial commitments, including the timely repayment of the Eurobond, reinforcing its credibility in the global financial market. In the tourism sector, the implementation of the Electronic Travel Authorization (ETA) has modernized entry processes, contributing to a substantial increase in tourist arrivals from 1.48 million to 2.5 million.
Through sound monetary policies, it has successfully stabilized the Kenyan shilling, bolstering investor confidence and ensuring macroeconomic stability Amid challenging global economic conditions,
farmers are said to have greatly benefited from the fertilizer subsidy program, with 67% reduction in fertilizer cost from 7,500 to 2,500 Kenya shillings per 50 kg bag, leading to increased production.
Kenya remains one of the world's largest producer and exporter of tea, with our tea industry contributing approximately 4% to the GDP and accounting for 26% of the country's export earnings.
To address the long-standing grievances of the healthcare professionals, the Ministry of Health and the Council of Governors has signed a collective bargaining agreement (CBA) that ensures intern doctors will now receive a monthly salary of 206,000 Kenya shillings. This agreement also includes the payment of basic salary arrears owed to medical interns.
CHPs have screened 4 million Kenyans for hypertension, with 318,000 referred for additional care, while they have also identified and referred 247,000 pregnant women to antenatal clinics for critical maternal health care services.
On affordable housing, a total of 124,000 affordable housing units are at different stages of development, with 4,888 units already put up for sale through the Boma Yangu platform.
To date, the program has generated over 200,000 direct jobs, with projections to achieve 1 million jobs in the next 4 years, when the government rolls an additional 840,000 units.
The Teachers Service Commission, TSC, has employed over 85,000 teachers at a cost of more than 40 billion Kenya shillings. To manage the increasing number of students in grade 9, TSC has recruited 56,000 teachers permanently.
Lakini sisi kama serikali tunasema kwamba tumeweka zaidi ya kitita cha bilioni 43 kwa miaka miwili mtawalia, kuhakikisha kwamba vyuo vyetu vinaweza kujisimamia kwa njia ambayo inayofaa.
Kenyans have been urged to remain optimistic and actively participate in shaping the nation's future. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Now, the Controller of Budget, Dr. Margaret Nyakango, has put the national government on the spot for exceeding borrowing limits beyond the authorized levels allowed by Parliament. The Auditor General in the National Government Budget Implementation Review Report for the financial year 2024-2025 says public debt has risen to 10.7 trillion as of September 30th of this year, compared to 10.5 trillion by June 30th of this year. And as Apollo Kamau reports, the National Treasury has already presented proposals in Parliament seeking a new debt ceiling.
The latest budget implementation report for the year 2024-2025 by the Control of Budget, flagging the rise in the country's public debt, puts President William Ruto on the spot for ignoring the debt ceiling set by Parliament and exposing Kenyans to the debt burden. In the latest finding, the Control of Budget, Dr. Margaret Nyakango, says the public debt has risen to 10.79 trillion Kenya shillings as of 30th September this year, compared to 10.58 trillion shillings as of 30th June 2024, a 2% increase, translating to 67% of the country's gross domestic product. This is in contravention of the Public Finance Management Act of 2012, which allowed Parliament to set the debt ceiling, capped by MPs at 55%, in June last year for a period of 5 years. Kenya's current gross domestic product as of 30th June 2024 was 16.11 trillion shillings. In order to give the president a free hand to continue borrowing, despite the violation, the National Treasury submitted new proposals to Parliament early last month, seeking to amend the PFM Act of 2012. The implication of the amendments, which seek to amend the 2012 Act, means the current 5-year debt ceiling, expected to lapse in 2028, will cover President William Ruto's full term.
But for the sake of Hansard, we must introduce ourselves.
The Control of Budget has recommended a reduction of budget deficit financing through fiscal consolidation to contain the increase in public debt. Apollo Kamau, TV47.
Thank you, Apollo. Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka has urged the Kenya Kwanza government to urgently reconstitute the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IEBC). Kalonzo says in the new year he will plan protests to push for the reconstitution of the commission if the issue is not resolved. He's accusing the government of sponsoring proxies to derail the process in courts. Speaking in a meeting with Wiper Women Caucus, the Wiper boss has further criticized the new cabinet appointments and the broad-based government in what he terms as a betrayal to Kenyans and especially the Gen Z movement.
Haijafanyika, and believe it or not, wanaanza kunilaumu. Can you imagine? Because we had clearly agreed that ODM will get one slot for the panel, yeah, and Wiper will get another slot. In fact, our slot was donated by Jubilee, because at that time Jubilee had a few more members than Wiper. But what then happened, because nominee were ODM, Professor Adams Law, I see these days he's now even been appointed advisor. I don't know he's going to do those two jobs. Akapita through Parliamentary Service Commission very easily. Sisi tukaambiwa mkangangane na 23 political parties were support candidate to a Wiper. And what did Kenya Kwanza do? They look for a proxy. Chamamba, I don't even remember what it is, with the name of a guy called Augustus Muli, to look like Koke Muli, all right? And everybody knows in terms of credentials. And I want to challenge any Kenyan, if there is a more qualified Kenyan to serve, not even as a panelist, but even one with ability to replace Chebukati. Dr. Koke Muli qualifies. He's the most qualified. If people believe in qualification. Lakini wakaweka vikwazo, mahakama. Eventually, Koke Muli won. History of our country has taken a different dimension. It is not going to be possible for anybody to steal elections again. And that will not be allowed. It will not happen. Anybody joining Kenya Kwanza now, in the hope, because wengine nasema after 6 months to the election, tutatoka huko, tusimame. Watapelekwa the same route na Ruto. Sinamna hiyo? Because
now, the Kenya National Union of Nurses has issued a 21-day strike notice over alleged injustices under the Universal Health Coverage Program. Joined by the Kenya Environmental Health Public Health Practitioners Union, the group cites marginalization, poor remuneration and neglect, as Anodida now reports.
Discrimination, inequitable treatment and marginalization of nurses under the Universal Health Coverage UHC program, particularly when it comes to remuneration, has emerged to be a challenge in the nursing community, with the Kenya National Union of Nurses (NAN) issuing a 21-day strike notice set to take effect on January 13.
They have a right for pension. They have a right to have a salary that guarantees them the right to access loan facilities, including mortgage, car loans, so that they can better their way of life. So to put these Kenyan nurses for a period of 6 years on contract as the government wants is a violation of their rights. And as a union, we are saying we cannot allow that to continue.
Among their demands are the conversion of nurses from contracts to permanent and pensionable terms, implementation of a 2017 return to work formula that promised salary increments, and fairness in promotions at the county level. They accuse county governments of failing to cooperate in the Ministry of Health of neglecting career progression policies for nurses.
Kama mambo hayo hayatatekelezwa, serikali za kaunti hazitaangalia mambo ya mkataba wa kuhudumia wa CBA kwa wauguzi. Kuanzia tarehe 13 kaunti karibu zote zitakuwa zinashiriki mgomo.
At the same time, the Kenya Environmental Health and Public Health Practitioners Union (KEPU) has called for urgent public health reforms. The union has accused the Ministry of Health of skewing funding towards curative medical services at the expense of preventive and promotive healthcare, leaving public health services marginalized.
The last financial year, it must be remembered that out of the Kenya shillings 140 billion that were given to the health sector, only a parity 116 billion went to curative services. And you can imagine, out of 116 billion, a minimal share came to preventive healthcare services in this country.
KEPU demands increased investments in human resources for health, including the recruitment of a permanent and pensionable staff under the UHC program. Public health officers, they claim, remain overlooked and understaffed, while interns languish in poverty due to unpaid stipends and lack of postings.
In fact, even if the posting of the public officers interns is not even done by the Ministry of Health. They don't have the data. So we are telling the PS and the CS, please, as you onboard other people, we also equally important in the Ministry of Health.
Both unions underscore that without urgent action to resolve these issues, the ongoing neglect of health workers will cripple the country's healthcare system, further jeopardizing the government's UHC agenda. Ann Odida, TV47.
Elsewhere, the Kenya Forest Services has already written to Karura Golf Range Limited, citing various reasons for the suspension of the licenses they had initially issued. Environment Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale has ordered the National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, and Chief Conservator of Forests, Alex Lemarkoko, to suspend the licenses issued to Karura Golf Range Limited, allowing it to set up an entertainment joint within Ngong Road Forest. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Environment and Forestry has urged Kenyans traveling up country for Christmas holidays to take advantage of the short rains to plant more trees in an effort to meet the President's goal to plant 15 billion trees in 10 years. Lemarkoko spoke while planting 10,000 trees at Ngong Hills in Kajiado County, adding that there are enough seedlings in the country to plant during the festive season.
Yeah, my advice to Kenyans that are traveling home, which is a good gesture because they are going back to their rural homes. But because we also have rains, we are lucky to have rains during this festive season. My encouragement to Kenyans is that plant as many trees as possible, and we have enough seedlings in our tree nurseries. Anywhere you go to any forest tree nursery or any carefree tree nursery or any other institutional tree nursery, you will get seedlings that are available for you and suitable for your area. So I want to encourage Kenyans to do tree planting during this festive season and mark each day by planting trees. The CS has given direction that all those titles that are located within the boundaries of a gazetted forest that are defined by a legal notice be revoked. So we have started the process of communicating with the Ministry of Lands to carry out the revocation. Whether revocation takes place or not, we are carrying out fencing where we are able to, and we are protecting and taking charge of that area, irrespective of whether there is a title or not.
Now, the government has secured a 12 billion shilling funding from the African Development Bank, meant to add 100 households to the national power grid. Speaking in Siaya County for a rural electrification project, Energy and Petroleum Cabinet Secretary Opio Wandai says the county was set to benefit from electricity projects worth 1.2 billion shillings, all the while casting blame on parastatals and government agencies tasked with delivering for their laxity in finishing infrastructure within the intended timelines.
Leo mimi niko na furaha tele kwa sababu tangu niteuliwe kama waziri na Mheshimiwa Rais William Ruto, hii ndio mara yangu ya kwanza kufika hapa Siaya kwa kazi rasmi. This is my first time to officiate an official government function for the ministry here in Siaya County. Na niliamua hiyo mara yangu ya kwanza lazima iwe hapa Lego Usonga. Ni kweli au sio kweli? Na leo hii tumekuja kuzindua hii mradi ya stima ya Obambo Kadhai Village. Miradi ambayo imesimamiwa na wizara yangu ya kawi na mafuta, ikipitia shirika yetu ya DEREC. Na kama vile Mheshimiwa Tandi ashasema tayari, hii sio mradi pekee yake katika Lego Usonga. Tuko na miradi zingine 5 tutakuja kuzindua hivi karibuni.
Now, on that light and bright note, we take a very short breather. When we come back, more news. Don't go too far.
this December, learn about safety precautions to take into consideration this season.
If you can remember, if you drive on a motorcycle often, to make sure that you have a helmet, it's key to decreasing the severity of the accidents.
If you are passing in a bus from Kakamega to Mombasa, in between, just stand up, stretch your legs, and even when you are seated, keep pumping your feet, keep moving your feet to avoid that long stasis of blood in the veins.
Healthier options for you to maintain a balanced lifestyle amid the holiday hustle.
Eating healthy really doesn't mean that you have to deprive yourself, but we really just have to factor on how to strike a balance. Portion control and moderation are very key. Let us enjoy the season, and at the same time, let us try to watch our health and our well-being.
Happy holidays.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in? I was number 2. What position were you? Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m. The Grind, where business meets brilliance. It's not just about the ideas.
I was working as a shampoo boy. I used to wash clients' hair on the sink.
It's about making them happen. From big wins.
In primary school, when we would be asked what people want to be, I was categorical that I want to be a nurse.
To hard lessons.
The consoles change, the gaming equipment keep changing.
We cover it all. Tune in to The Grind, where every episode is packed with insights.
The person who is serving customers, always be a customer-centric.
Strategies.
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
And stories to fuel your ambition. Don't just dream it, grind it. Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for myself.
Tazama Mfahamu Kiongozi, ambapo kila kipindi kimejaa maarifa, mikakati na hadithi za kukuza azma yako.
For me to succeed, I have to fight.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30.
Welcome back. Many Kenyans were stranded in Nairobi's CBD and bus stops after missing their ticket despite booking for travels long ago. Ruga Eval made a spot check in several bus stations in the city, talking to frustrated travelers during the festivities.
It is a rush and frustration for families who had been eager to reunite with their loved ones in upcountry. Some had received text messages instructing them to be ready for departure at exactly 8:30 a.m., only to find themselves stuck in a waiting game that lasted the entire day.
Wala nilifika hapa 8 paka saa hizi, magari hakuna, watu wamekaa. Paka saa hata tujue tutaenda ama tutalala hapa. Tuna wenye wako hapa na watoto wamelala hapa, wameshinda hapa. Watoto watakula nini? Paka saa hii hakuna gari. Mtu anapiga sababu ya kwenda kwa nyumba kuna mizigo na una fare kubebea mizigo paka kwako. Ai, watu hizi coach matuleti down kabisa. Kila mtu amekasirika.
Many passengers who booked their tickets as early as November are in disbelief. Their journey home for Christmas remains uncertain and they are left in stranded. From children to the elderly, everyone is caught in these chaotic delays with no proper waiting areas, no food, and the constant need to guard their luggage. The situation has become unbearable for many.
Mtoto analia, mtoto analia njaa, yeye hapendi kukula vitu zenye ziko na sukari. Yeye yuko tu kuanzia asubuhi yako tu njaa. Kunyonya tu. So pia mimi nafaa nikule kitu heavy ndio anyonye. Sasa tujui hiyo gari itafika saa ngapi? Ndio tufike home.
Wana watoto wadogo kutoka saa 12 wamenyeshewa, wamechomwa na jua na bado wako hapa. Ukienda kwa management mtu anakurushia mikono.
Others echoed similar frustrations, accusing the transport companies of poor planning and lack of accountability.
Sasa ina maana gani ya kusema ya kwamba you book in advance? Booking in advance is to make an arrangement that when I come, I get my seat, I get my bus when it is ready at the time that I've been given. Nitoke nikienda. Saa hii kutoka saa 12 ya saa 11 asubuhi, saa hii ni saa 12. Sina habari kama nitasafiri.
Sasa chenye kiko tu, tumeshinda hapa, tumenyeshewa kutoka kwa nyumba asubuhi, nguo zimekauka. Ukitaka kwenda haja ndogo unalipa, ukitaka kurudi unalipa. Wengine imebidi tusikule chochote, usikunywe maji. Cause hiyo pesa ya kwenda kulipa huko, utaachia nani mzigo ndio ukiendea hiyo haja ndogo, ukienda kulipa? Hakuna mtu utaachia mzigo. Cause kila mtu anaenda ruti yake. Nikiambia jirani niangalilie gari yake ikikuja si hataingia. Mzigo wangu imeenda. Nani atanilipa?
Meanwhile, the bus management teams have issued apologies, vying to address the delays and restore order.
You see, the factor of compensation comes with the SMS that we sent. That one was a message to really alert them that this is going to happen so that somebody can organize and reorganize him or herself with the children. That's why we were sending those kind of messages to all our clients. Really, be ready for that. We've sent some messages to some clients. Some are saying that they didn't receive the messages. I do understand because when they're booking, you find that clients are booking with different numbers. But we sent a message to almost 3/4, almost if not all then, who are in our data on this lateness. So we were very aware of that. And that's why you're saying quite a majority are very calm and they really understood what really happened.
However, for these stranded travelers, the Christmas spirit has already been dimmed by the long hours of waiting. For now, their only hope is that the issues will be resolved and their travels happen. These are the frustrations of over 1,000 families who are still wondering how they are going to get to their homes to celebrate the Christmas holidays with their families. Disappointments of how and when they are going to travel still depicting on their faces. Ruga Eval, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Ruga. Interior Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo is now challenging former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to back his claims with evidence that the government is targeting Mount Kenya residents with illicit alcohol. Omolo terming Gachagua's remarks as reckless utterances of a former second-in-command after alleging that President William Ruto has ordered the distribution of illicit alcohol in the Mount Kenya region. Gachagua, during his tenure, spearheaded the fight against illicit alcohol. Moiga William tells us more.
Interior Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo has dared former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to come forward with evidence related to his recent allegation that the government has ordered the distribution of illicit alcohol within the Mount Kenya region. Omolo called on Gachagua to provide evidence to the country's investigating agencies, supporting his claims that the government is deliberately targeting Mount Kenya residents with illicit counterfeit alcohol distribution. The claims by Gachagua follows the death of 3 people in Lanet, Bahati, Nakuru County who are suspected to have consumed illicit alcohol, with police launching investigations into the source of the killer drink with fears it might affect more people. In a statement, Omolo slammed Gachagua utterances, stating that they are politically motivated and mischievous of the former deputy president. Kiambu Senator Karungo Thangwa, a close ally to Gachagua, responding to Omolo, detailed that, unlike during Gachagua's tenure, where Kenya witnessed a significant decline and consumption of illicit alcohol, the progress is seemingly reversed, stating that the backstops are the PS, Cabinet Secretary and the President in halting the sale and consumption of illicit alcohol.
Ile pombe yote baya ya kuua watu, Rais aliagiza iletwe hapa kwa mlima, ndio imalize vijana wetu. Machifu wameambiwa muachane na hiyo pombe, wacha hii watu wakunywe wakufe. Polisi wameambiwa muachane naye, wacha hii watu wakunywe wakufe. Ati ndio idadi yetu ya wapiga kura ipungue.
A section of leaders wants Gachagua investigated over the claims.
And I want to call on the National Integration and Cohesion Commission to take this matter very, very seriously and investigate it. And he needs to be brought to answer and to provide evidence that this is so.
I think Rigiji has started a journey of struggling to become the kingpin of Mount Kenya by inciting tribal animosity among Kenyans.
Before Gachagua's unceremonious ouster from the Kenya Kwanza government, he spearheaded the fight against illicit alcohol. In the same period, the government vetted active manufacturers and distillers of second-generation alcohol, where only 2 were found to be fully compliant. A caucus of elected leaders allied to Gachagua have challenged Omolo to furnish Kenyans with a list of all the vetted companies and licensed to sell a second-generation alcohol and what their product brands are.
It is very clear that it is possible kumaliza hiyo pombe kwa sababu nilikuwa nimemaliza. Huyu PS wa internal security amepatiwa amri, pombe yote baya iletwe hapa kwa vijana wetu.
Omolo has extended an invitation to Gachagua to make official complaints and present the evidence in his possession, challenging Gachagua if his intentions is to save the lives of Kenyans from the harm of illicit alcohol. Moige William, TV47.
Sports news brought to you by Maybets.
Sports Cabinet Secretary Babu Namwamba will be remembered for initiating the Sports Act and spearheading the Talanta Hela program. The 49-year-old constitutional lawyer also kickstarted an important infrastructure development phase in Kenya. Our reporter Tony Kwalanda takes us through his success stories and the challenges he faced while at Talanta Plaza headquarters.
Babu Tofik Tera Pius Namwamba is celebrating his 49th birthday this month, and he will be satisfied by the 3 cumulative years he spent in the sports ministry as cabinet secretary. The international human rights and constitutional lawyer was the head of the country's sports docket in 2 regimes, under President William Ruto and under former president, the late Mwai Kibaki.
Every situation, every circumstance is unique.
It has its own peculiarities. You would say that on both occasions, the time I had in office was perhaps not long enough to see the fruition of some of the measures you put in place. During my time in the Hibaq administration, for instance, I joined cabinet towards the tail end of the life of the coalition government.
Okay.
But I still had the opportunity to do some phenomenal things. And what comes to mind and what I'm most proud of is that I was able to get the Sports Act enacted.
The former Budalangi Member of Parliament worked under the Ruto administration from 2022 to 2024 after being in the same position from 2012 to 2013 under the Kibaki Grand Coalition government.
I mean, it's just a journey. And the journey of life has its moments.
Okay.
It can give you a moment to sit in a public office. It can give you a moment to sit in a private office.
Okay.
It can give you a moment to chill out in your private space.
Okay.
So it's all about taking everything in your stride
All
and
right.
enjoying each of those moments along the journey of life. And I have mastered that. I also have the gift of goodbye.
The former Secretary General of Orange Democratic Party succeeded Dr. Paul Otuoma in 2012 before Ambassador Hassan Orio took over from 2013 to 2018. The family man replaced Ambassador Amina Mohammed in 2022 before Onesimus Kipchumba Murkomen came calling in 2024.
Murkomen is such a fantastic friend, a colleague and a comrade, many respects. We even went to the same college for our postgraduate studies. So we are actually college mates. We did our master's degrees in law at the same school. So we have a long history together.
Okay.
If you had asked me to choose a successor among my colleagues in cabinet, I wouldn't have gone beyond Murkomen. I certainly would have picked Murkomen because I know his passion for sports.
Okay.
He's a sports person himself. He has tried to break my record at Bunge FC. I was the top. I still hold the record of the highest number of goals scored for Bunge FC. Murkomen came close, but not quite.
The former Foreign Affairs Chief Administrative Secretary between 2018 and 2022 is a die-hard supporter of Arsenal Football Club in the English Premier League and AFC Leopards in Kenya's top flight league.
Murkomen is number one, a good fit for the ministry, no doubt in my mind whatsoever. And secondly, he has plugged into the momentum we have already built.
Okay.
And he can only now take it to the next level. And he has my total, unequivocal support in that respect.
Okay.
We consult a lot. We exchange ideas. If he needs my input in anything, I offer that without reservation.
Kenya was undergoing a challenging phase in the second half of 2022, and Namwamba was at the center of critical global negotiations in football, athletics, and swimming.
In a record 1 month, we were able to sort of take charge of that space. I met Mr. Gianni Infantino, the president of FIFA, and we were able to unlock the suspension on FIFA, bring back football. I engaged Lord Sebastian Coe, the president of the IFC, and even invited him to Kenya. He came to Kenya in January 2023. I arranged for him to meet President Ruto. We held very good meetings, and we struck a deal that saved Kenya from athletics being suspended or banned. And you know, athletics is really the bread and butter of Kenya's sporting heritage internationally. So if athletics had been banned, we wouldn't even have been at the Olympics this season, this Olympic season. We also engaged World Aquatics and got the suspension of Swimming Federation. And the swimming sport in this country had been in limbo for 7 years. We got that lifted, and we were able to get our swimmers to Paris.
This formed the basis of his next agenda, streamlining sports federations, which are still a hard nut to crack.
Sports is a space of shared responsibility.
Okay.
Collective responsibility. And it is so important for the public to understand who bears what responsibility.
Okay.
Government is a policy maker. Government oversights, and government is a facilitator. But the actor, the frontline actor in sports, is the respective sporting federations. If you take the Olympics, we've just come back from the Olympics, the agency, front, center, back, sideways that is responsible for the Olympics is the National Olympics Committee of Kenya.
Okay.
President Paul Targat, Secretary General Francis Mutuku, those are the people who manage the Olympics space.
Okay.
They set the timetable, they prepare the team, they do the logistics, make sure hotels are booked, flights are done, okay, athletes are prepared, and everybody is ready for competition.
Okay.
So whenever, and even the kit, make sure the kit is prepared, okay, the kit is delivered. Even when it comes to sponsorship, like you must have noticed that the Team Kenya kit is a Nike kit. It's because the National Olympics Committee has a deal with Nike. So if you say you've noticed shoes that are not of the right quality for Team Kenya, the National Olympics Committee must tell you under the Nike deal, because it's them who signed the deal. Government has no role.
The success or failure of sports in Kenya falls squarely at the feet of federations. However, the sports ministry has been caught in the crossfire.
And because these international federations are very protective of their affiliates, they have something, they have a rungu they normally call government interference. Yeah. That's how Kenya was banned by FIFA. When Amina said, there seems to be a problem here with the FKF, let us sort out a few things. What did FIFA do? FIFA did not bembelezana with Amina. No, they banned Kenya. That's how they do it. And because these local federations know that, they engage in a lot of impunity. They do a lot of actions. They know we will mess up with Team Kenya ceremonial kit. No one will come for Paul Targat. No one will come for Francis Mutuku. Everybody will go for Babu Namwamba. Because in the Kenyan psyche, Kenyans believe it must be a Babu who bought this uniform.
The National Olympic Committee of Kenya, NOC, was the first to face the wrath of terror.
In a bid to cut costs for our Olympics team, I negotiated with Kenya Airways a special ticket rate. And I approached Alan Kilavuka, the CEO of KQ. I told him, Alan, we are taking Team Kenya to Paris. Why doesn't KQ become our flight partner for Team Kenya? Even brand a couple of aircraft in Team Kenya colors. Then offer subsidized tickets to Team Kenya. Okay? Alan accepted. He even wrote back to me because I formally wrote to him as minister. He wrote back to me, he made an offer, okay? But after we gave the resources to the responsible body, they decided they're not interested in that deal. And I kept on asking them, guys, why are you not taking this deal? Why don't you want to partner? Oh, KQ, they might delay us. Oh, there might be this and that. So when a federation makes that call, the minister cannot take a rungu and tell them, guys, if you don't fly KQ, you are not going to Paris. No, they will tell you, but we have the mandate to prepare Team Kenya. And they told me, they told me, Waziri, you know, if we fly KQ and this flight delays somewhere and or our athletes arrive at JKIA and KQ announces a delay in the departure and the athletes are at the airport for 8 hours, you know, Waziri, is going to be messy and you are the one who is going to be under fire. So just let us handle it and find the right kind of flight. So today I want Kenyans to know that federations carry a lot of responsibility. And because they know Kenyans are obsessed with the government, Kenyans only hold government responsible. They don't hold any other person responsible.
NOC was also caught in the complex web of the national kit for the Paris Olympics team.
We wanted Team Kenya to have a ceremonial kit that reflected the spirit of Kenya. So we asked NOC to run a national competition. As government, we committed some resources. We gave them resources. We gave NOC some resources to run a national competition for fashion designers to dress Team Kenya. They ran a competition. They picked what they believed to be the best designs. And the team they put together to run that process for them is a team which I believe to be competent. It was led by people like Connie Alwatch, okay? People who really, as far as the fashion design space is concerned, they have made a name. They know their thing. So after these designs came out, they actually came to present them to us. The, what you call renders, the designs. So we looked at the designs, we had some reservations here, we made our input, they went back, we told them after you completed the adjustments, then do the production. Now they took forever to do the production. On the other hand, they were insisting, please ask the president to flag us off. So when I asked the president gave them a date of July 5. I told them the president is ready to flag you off. The day the president was flagging them off, because I told them, that kit you have produced, it would be amazing for the president to wear it as the head of state and as the country's diplomat #1. Okay? So I told them, I want to see it before we take it to the president. So they delivered something to me. They actually delivered 2 pieces. They told me, hii ni ya rais na hii ni yako waziri. I took one look at that stuff. And I told them, nah. Mr. Francis Mutuku, the Secretary General of NOC, he should come here actually so that he can explain.
He approved it himself.
I mean, it is a NOC process.
Okay.
So I looked at that stuff and I said, no. The quality of the fabric, the production, the
outlook.
I told him no.
Yeah.
I told him no. This Haitoshi Mboga. In fact, I told him, Kenyans will roast you for this. I mean, little did I know that actually the roasting will be a babu's. So he said, you know, Waziri, this thing has been done in a hurry. I told him, hurry or no hurry, we must get it right. Okay. And by the way, they can sit on this couch and corroborate what I'm telling you. I told them this cannot go public. Surprise, and I even told them, don't you guys have the Nike kit? For the flagging off by the president, ask your team to wear the Nike kit. Hizi zingine, rudisheni kwa fundi. So I told them, please return to sender.
Yeah.
Shock of shocks. Tuko State House, tuko Ikulu. Sinimi sasa ile, the athletes are walking in. And I could see, I say, oh, it's good. The athletes walked in the Nike kit. Okay, that honeycomb, the honeycomb kit.
So far, everything
is good. I say, oh, these guys have listened to me. Hizo vitu zimerudi kwa fundi. Shock of shocks. In the middle of the event, I see athletes walk to the front. You know, I held my hand. You know, I was sitting next to the Kirinyaga governor, who is also the chair of the Council of Governors, Anu Waiguru.
Yeah.
And told me, Waziri, what is this? And he said, Mayo, what is this goodness? These guys actually went ahead and released those things. And now, a beautiful ceremony that was supposed to be like the highlight of Team Kenya flag off was then reduced to a conversation about these half-baked products which we had rejected.
Okay.
Long story short is that I was very upset.
What did the president say?
Of course, I explained to the president the situation. Obviously, he was not impressed. I invited them to dinner immediately after that ceremony at State House. I took the whole team to dinner at the Marriott At my cost, by the way, it was not at the public's cost.
Okay. Kenya Volleyball Federation had its fair share of theatrics for the cabinet secretary.
The Kenya Volleyball Federation did a very silly thing the other day. Kenya has had a long-running agreement with the World Volleyball Federation where they give technical support. They give a grant, they give coaches, and Malkia Strikers has always had a Brazilian coach under that arrangement. Dudes sit down, decide, we want to cancel this arrangement. And why do they want to cancel the arrangement? Because they want to appoint themselves to be the ones to manage the team, because the Olympics is in town. People must go to Paris, okay, and show up and feel good and have fun. So they cancel the deal. The president of the federation appoints himself the team manager. That in the wake of that, I wrote to all federations to tell them there must be separation of responsibilities. You cannot lead a federation and again manage the team.
The recent change of guard at the Football Kenya Federation is a box ticked by Namwamba.
I demanded elections for FKF. I demanded elections for Athletics Kenya. I demanded elections for every federation. But what do? The moment elections are called, they sponsor someone to go to court and they secure an injunction. AK today is injuncted, it cannot hold elections. And the last time they held elections was during the reign of the former president of AK, the late Isaiah Kiplagat. Those elections happened while I was minister in the Hibaq administration 11 years ago. Oh, wow. So you have people who have been in office and they just have no intention. They have no plan. They have no desire to live off better. The other day I was talking to FKF, my people at FKF, and I was telling them, guys, under the Sports Act, you can't do more than 2 terms. You guys have already done your 2 terms. What is your succession plan? you know. And Waziri, if you come too hard, FIFA will ban Kenya, government interference.
Oh, wow.
FIFA will ban. In fact, FIFA has said, if you push this thing too much, we might just be banned again.
As sports federations continued to fill up his entry, the holder of a master's degree in international law had another obligation of spearheading the Talanta Hela program.
The program I have explained with football is a program run by the Kenya Academy of Sports.
Okay.
It has scouts who go around the country to identify talents. It has coaches who coach the identified talents.
Okay.
It even has a digital platform called Talanta Online, where if you are in Lodwar or in Lokitown and you want your talent to be seen and you cannot physically travel to Nairobi for a trial, you can take a 1-minute, 3-minute clip of yourself, post it onto Talanta Online, and someone seated at the Kenya Academy of Sports can be able to do a virtual audition for you.
Okay.
So it is an ecosystem. It's
Okay.
a whole ecosystem of coaches, of scouts, of trainers, of centers, of digital platforms. It's a whole ecosystem.
The captain of the national under-20 football team, Amos Wanjala, and Aldrin Kibet are products of the Talanta Hela program.
You remember the last year, Kenya lost our co-status in the HSBC Rugby 7 series.
Okay.
This year we bounced right back. How did we bounce right back? I sat down the rugby union and told them the reason why Kenya lost their status in the HSBC series is that you forgot that sports is time-bound. And the shelf life of athletes is very short, very limited. So when people like Aimba, Humphrey Kayange, and that ilk retired, there was no successor. So I told them, you'll make use of this Talanta Hela pipeline to create a continuous pipeline of rugby talents. I even took them to schools. I took Sasha Mutai president of the Kenya Rugby Union, to Koyonzo boys in Kakamega, who had just won the national rugby championship. I took them to Butler boys, who had won the 15s championship. Koyonzo won the 7s, Butler won the 15s. And I told him, Chief, we must form a new rugby 7s team. But not just to get back to the HSBC series, to establish a pipeline where these kids in schools and colleges and community clubs and all this whole ecosystem can continuously feed the national teams. And I sat in Madrid at the Wanda Metropolitano Stadium myself to witness those kids, people like Patrick Odongo, who nobody knew. Everybody was like, where did this boy come from? Where did Patrick Odongo come from? The pipeline. Picking them raw, nurturing them, and unleashing them on an unsuspecting world. And within 1 year, Kenya bounced right back into the HSBC World Series with players nobody had ever seen.
It is during this period that sportsmen and women received enhanced reward schemes, besides formulating a policy on recognition and honoring of athletes and players.
Talanta Hela is not just about identifying talents and nurturing them. It is about turning those talents into money. You saw the other day, we introduced changes. Number one, if you break a world record. When Faith broke her first world record, Faith Kipyegon, last year, she arrived here, 5 million shillings, 3-bedroom house, never seen before. We raised the scale of rewards to our world beaters because we have treated them poorly before. So for the first time ever, you can go at a world record aware that I break this world record, 5 million is in the bank, and a 3-bedroom house is ready for me. We did that with Faith Kipyegon, okay? We also revised, in fact, the entire reward scheme. I completely turned it upside down. Previously, you won an Olympics medal, and you got home and you were given 750,000 Kenya shillings. I tripled that. Actually, we raised that also to 5 million. Okay? We raised the reward for silver medal. We raised the reward for bronze medal. We revised the rewards for participation so that even when you're in Kenya, you are training to go for the competition and you are out of the country and participating in the competition. Previously, you'll be paid like, I think it was $75. We raised that to $300 per day while you are in competition. That is an allowance per day to cover your training period.
Infrastructure development has been a thorn in the flesh for successive governments. However, there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
We put in place an infrastructure master plan, which is really revolutionary, that even categorized what should be the standard of an international stadium, what should be the standard of a regional or county level stadium, and what should be the standard of what you're calling community grounds that people can use at that local level. And to demonstrate what an international stadium is. Okay. I spent time myself with a technical team to design the Talanta Sports City. It is a football-only stadium, the only one of its kind in this region. And in this region, I mean the Eastern Central Africa region. It is a 60,000 capacity seater, green stadium, all the modern, all the high-tech, all the tech-savvy capabilities are built in that stadium. I can't wait to see that stadium completed because it's going to take Kenya's sporting infrastructure to another level and set the standard.
Kenya is preparing to co-host the 2024 Africa Nations Championships, CHAN, which will serve as a dress rehearsal for the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations to be staged in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania.
It was a top priority for me. I know it's a top priority for my successor, Murkomen. It's a priority for the president. It's a national priority. We must make it happen.
Namwamba believes he's set up a springboard, which is currently propelling his successor to the next level. Tony Kwalanda, TV47 Sports.
Thank you, Kwalanda, for that riveting piece. Now we take a very short break. When we come back, sports news.
This December, learn about safety precautions to take into consideration this season.
If you can remember, if you drive on a motorcycle often, to make sure that you have a helmet, it's key to decreasing the severity of the accidents.
If you are passenger in a bus from Kakamega to Mombasa, in between, just stand up, stretch your legs, and even when you are seated, keep pumping your feet, keep moving your feet to avoid that long stasis of blood in the veins.
Healthier options for you to maintain a balanced lifestyle amid the holiday hustle.
Eating healthy really doesn't mean that you have to deprive yourself, but we really just have to factor on how to strike a balance. Portion control and moderation are very key. Let us enjoy the season, and at the same time, let us try to watch our health and our well-being.
Happy holidays.
Hey there, friends. Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in? I was number 2. What position were you? Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated, and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m. The Grind, where business meets brilliance. It's not just about the ideas.
I was working as a shampoo boy. I used to wash clients' hair on the sink.
It's about making them happen. From big wins
In primary
Sports news brought to you by Maybets.
Welcome back. The Daguerre South Member of Parliament Beatrice Elachi Super Cup tournament ended earlier last week at Lavington Girls High School, where the second edition featured Classic Team and Team Red competing in the finals. Classic Team emerged as the overall winner in the tournament. The winner bagged 100,000 Kenyan shillings, while the loser received 70,000 Kenyan shillings. ODM Chairman George Aladwa, Nairobi County, Kennedy Swaka, Gatina MCA and Kabiro MCA, and Mozart representative also showered the tantalizing tournament. The main aim of the tournament was to empower youth through sports and foster community involvement among young people.
Lango la vijana wa timu ya Classic.
Mwangi, kwani uko timu gani?
Niko na kuelekeza lango la vijana wa timu ya Classic. Anakwenda kuicheza ile kona. Team Red anaanza na mwenzake mwite kijana Saidi. Tokeza kule beka na toe chafu. Anasema
challengers mkujie trophy Atlantic Toronto Pro.
Referee wanamsubiri tu.
Now Liverpool defeated Tottenham Hotspur 63 to
Sports News brought to you by Maybets.
All right, that is the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. A special good night to the entire team who have worked with me tonight, and to my super producer, Gaylord Mugonyi, who is probably enjoying himself in Western region. Itaisha too. Good night to the sign language interpreter as well, Catherine Simaloy, and good night from me, Hibaq Said.